and welcome back to Kingdom Reviews. I'm your host, Future Keybearer. Today, we'll be journeying to the Pride Lands. So we start off with a young Simba caught up in a wildebeest stampede. It's not quite as intense as it is in the film, but it's a valiant attempt.
No!
Wow. The kid they got for this was good. I mean, it almost sounds exactly like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Okay, in all seriousness, I have mixed feelings about them using archived audio of Taylor Thomas and James Earl Jones. On the one hand, it makes the sequences feel a bit more authentic, and there's no need to get the original actors in the studio. But at the same time, I can't help but feel it's a little bit too cheap. So, as it turns out, it was just a dream. Well, good luck getting back to sleep. We then see our heroes arrive. Sora has become a lion, as to be expected. Donald is finally a flying bird, and Goofy is a turtle. Again, I think these games have established that Goofy is not that slow. Unfortunately, however, it seems they've landed right in the middle of the hyena territory.
Heartless?
Sora, not every creature that means to do you harm is a heartless. But before the hyenas can chow down, they get summoned by Scar.
Everything's harder on four legs.
Gotta stop practicing.
I found a trick to it. Here, let me show you.
And with that, Sora becomes just as competent on four legs as he would be if he was born with them. Also, something I find kind of weird, before you move on, if you talk to Donald, he mentions how it was Sora's magic clothes that transformed him. Which is stupid, because we established in the first game that Donald can do that with his magic. Anyway, we move on to see Nala getting attacked by what are actually Heartless, and we get our first bit of combat for this world. As can probably be expected, Sora's attacks flow kind of differently in this world. So the developers thought a good idea for our first fight in this form would be some of the most difficult, pain-in-the-ass Heartless in the game! This is less a trial by fire and more trial by magma! Anyway, afterwards, Nala thanks them and tells them of her woes about their terrible king, Scar.
You want us to take down your king? Wait just a minute. We can't just go around knocking kings off their thrones.
Actually, yeah. While they have fought an evil monarch in the past, they never actually dethroned anyone.
But then again, if they see that I'm stronger than their king, maybe they'll ask me to be their next king.
First dreams of piracy, now wanting a position of government. Well, same thing, really. So Sora agrees to meet Nala at Pride Rock to see if they can help. So we get out to the savannah, and holy waste of space! Okay, I know that actual African savannas are this large, and this will be warranted later in the game, but it still feels like there should be more here. Anyway, we make it to Pride Rock, where Rafiki gives Sora the old once-over, and concludes that he can't save the Pride Lands.
Meaning?
Well, I think she means you're not cut out for the job, Sora.
Too young and not of royal blood. But before they can leave, our heroes are ambushed by Scar and the hyenas.
And Pete!
Funny thing, as many people know by now, for the last verse of Be Prepared, Scar was voiced by Jim Cummings, who also plays Pete. So why the hell doesn't he play Scar here? I mean, it would have been the only instance in the series where they get the original voice actor without getting the original voice actor.
The herds have moved on, Scar. We can't hunt in a land with no prey.
No prey? Then what do you call this?
We're not prey!
Oh, nice and fresh, too.
That may be one of the best lines Scar's ever had. It was both clever and intimidating. Nala helps our heroes escape, and they all run off to the savannah. Why they don't follow, I have no idea. So Nala mentions that the one person who could have been king was Simba before he died. But of course, Sora mentions that Simba's not dead. Well, as far as he knows. I mean, it has been a year since he's seen him, and a lot can happen in that time. But with this news, our heroes go to try to find him. Speaking of Simba, we cut back to him feeling down, and Timon and Pumbaa trying to cheer him up.
Would you look how he's grown, Pumbaa? Why, when I rescued the little guy, he was only this big.
I feel like anyone who doesn't actually know the movie would probably take him seriously on that. Anyway, our heroes have a little trouble getting across a gorge, but Nala helps them out. Okay, so we just saw Sora jump and Donald probably flew over, but how did Goofy get across? I mean, it's not like Donald could have carried him.
It's a simple question of weight ratios.
Meanwhile, Rafiki receives news of Simba being alive. This really needed the music. And Rafiki somehow manages to instantly catch up to our heroes to confirm that Simba lives. Mandrills being well known for their great speed. Eventually, Sora, Donald, and Goofy find Simba.
Run away! Run away! Run away!
Sora, Donald, Goofy!
You know, I understand him not recognizing Sora, but Donald and Goofy still look exactly the same. So this kind of cute reunion is cut short by Timon and Pumbaa calling for help, as Nala is trying to eat them. When the hell did Nala get separated from the group? Simba stops her, and once they realize who the other is, they take a few minutes to be alone. While Simba refuses to return to Pride Rock, Sora and the others...
Hakuna!
Matata!
Hakuna!
Matata!
What, would Disney not let him use the actual song? This is awkward as hell! Anyway, Simba is left alone to have that famous conversation with Mufasa in the clouds. Interesting change from the movie. Here, Simba has a flashback to his father telling him about the great kings of the past. So this is, instead of Rafiki telling him that his father lives in his memory, it's Simba remembering his father's advice. So it's back to Pride Rock with Simba and the party. Oddly, or even fittingly enough, Simba works kinda similarly to the Beast. The only real difference is that Simba has a natural healing ability. Also, I think Simba's limit looks cooler. Once we get back, Simba confronts Scar, but it doesn't go too well.
Now, this looks familiar. I think I've seen this before.
This scene kind of loses something when the player is perfectly capable of jumping off that cliff without any negative consequences. Of course, the truth about Mufasa's death is revealed, and Simba gets the upper hand. Or paw, whatever. As Simba goes to deal with his uncle, our heroes deal with the hyenas, including a fight here where you have to protect Timon and Pumbaa.
This is his fight, Donald.
Actually, yeah, in a battle of honor like this, interfering would probably invalidate things. Simba manages to win, but Pete has a little surprise.
Anger and jealousy turned the king of Pride Rock into a Heartless.
In other words, this is our excuse for being able to make the boss fight more interesting by giving Scar superpowers. And indeed he does, having a variety of elemental attacks, most notably the Dark type. This fight is really cool, but difficult as hell. I also love the idea that there are dino fossils in Pride Rock. So Scar is defeated, and the sun rays reveal the next keyhole. Though I don't know what pathway they're supposed to unlock at this point. This world was pretty good. Despite only adapting the latter half of the movie, which really was all they could do, they managed to fill the time pretty well. My only real problem is that I feel that the world design is a bit too empty. And that's saying something when a lot of people have that problem with the overall game. Well, that's it for this episode. Tune in next time as we return to Lazy Afternoons.